In a small, remote village nestled amidst ancient woods, Valentine's Day was a time of caution rather than celebration. The villagers whispered of a tragic event that had occurred long ago, casting a shadow over the day of love. It was said that on this cursed night, the vengeful spirits of betrayed lovers roamed the land, seeking retribution for the pain inflicted upon them. The tale revolved around a forbidden romance between Rosalind and William, two young souls entwined in a passionate love affair. They met in secret, stealing kisses beneath moonlit trees and vowing eternal devotion. But their happiness was short-lived, for Rosalind was betrothed to another, a wealthy nobleman named Lord Harrington. Unable to bear the thought of losing Rosalind, William devised a plan to elope on Valentine's Day, hoping to escape the clutches of societal expectations and live their lives in true love's embrace. They were to meet at midnight near the ancient oak tree, their fate sealed in the moon's ethereal glow. As the clock struck 12, Rosalind arrived at the meeting place, her heart pounding with anticipation. But William was nowhere to be found. Time ticked by, and despair settled deep within her soul. Unbeknownst to Rosalind, Lord Harrington had discovered their plans and devised a diabolical scheme of his own. In a fit of jealousy and rage, Lord Harrington ambushed William on his way to meet Rosalind. The air filled with the sound of clashing blades and desperate pleas for mercy, until the night fell silent, the lifeblood of William staining the ground beneath the oak tree. Heartbroken and consumed by guilt, Rosalind stumbled upon the scene, her cries of anguish echoing through the night. Overwhelmed by grief, she took her own life, unable to bear the weight of the betrayal and loss. Since that fateful Valentine's Day, the spirits of Rosalind and William haunted the village, their presence felt in every corner. On this night each year, the veil between the living and the dead grew thin, and the tormented souls sought vengeance upon those who dared to betray love's sacred trust. As the village prepared for another Valentine's Day, Emily, a young woman with an insatiable curiosity, arrived in search of adventure. Unaware of the village's haunted history, she wandered the cobblestone streets, her gaze drawn to the dilapidated manor at the edge of town. Emily had heard whispers of the tragic tale, but dismissed them as mere folklore. Fueled by a sense of invincibility, she decided to spend the night within the manor's decaying walls, eager to prove her bravery and unravel the truth behind the legends. As twilight painted the sky in shades of gray, Emily stepped into the manor, its eerie silence embracing her like a suffocating shroud. Shadows danced in the corners, and a chilling breeze whispered through the empty halls. Unbeknownst to her, the spirits of Rosalind and William watched her every move, their ethereal presence growing stronger. As the clock struck midnight, the manor transformed into a haunting tableau. The spirits materialized before Emily, their faces etched with pain and anguish. The air grew heavy with a palpable sense of betrayal, and the room filled with a chorus of anguished sighs. Rosalind's spectral voice broke the silence, her words laced with sorrow and wrath. She recounted the tale of their love and its tragic betrayal, her voice carrying the weight of centuries of heartache. The room trembled with the intensity of their emotions, and Emily felt the sting of their pain seep into her very soul. Realizing the gravity of her mistake, Emily fell to her knees, begging for forgiveness and promising to honor the sanctity of love in her own life. The spirits, their eyes filled with a mix of longing and bitterness, considered her plea. They saw in her genuine remorse and a chance for redemption. With a final burst of ethereal energy, the spirits dissipated into the night, their presence fading from the manor. Emily was left alone, trembling and forever changed by the encounter. She emerged from the manor, her heart heavy with the weight of love's consequences and the responsibility to honor its sacred bond. As the years passed, Emily became a guardian of love's sanctity, sharing the tale of Rosalind and William with future generations. The village, once shrouded in fear, learned to respect the power of love, cherishing its fragility and the need for unwavering loyalty. And on each Valentine's Day, as the moon cast its ethereal glow upon the village, the spirits of Rosalind and William found solace in knowing that their tragic tale had served as a cautionary reminder. Love, once betrayed, had the power to transcend the boundaries of life and death, forever entwining the hearts of those. In a historic coastal town draped in fog and mystery, Valentine's Day was marked by an eerie tale that sent shivers down the spines of its inhabitants. The legend spoke of a haunted manor, nestled deep within the town's winding streets, where the spirits of star-crossed lovers lingered, forever trapped in a cycle of heartbreak. The manor, once an opulent residence, stood abandoned, its once vibrant halls now cloaked in darkness. Whispers filled the air on Valentine's Day, carrying the stories of a forbidden love affair that had ended in tragedy many years ago. It all began with Lady Victoria, a captivating beauty from a prominent family, and Lord Charles, a dashing nobleman from a rival lineage. Their love blossomed in secret, hidden from prying eyes and disapproving relatives. But as whispers tend to do, news of their forbidden romance reached the ears of those who sought to tear them apart. On a fateful Valentine's Day, the couple planned to elope under the cover of darkness, escaping the clutches of their families and the suffocating societal expectations. But their dreams of a life together were shattered when Lady Victoria's jealous suitor, Lord Reginald, discovered their plan. Driven by rage and consumed by a possessive love, Lord Reginald ambushed the couple on the night of their escape. In a fit of madness, he unleashed a torrent of violence, taking their lives and forever staining the manor's walls with their blood. Since that tragic night, the manor became a place of sorrow and lost souls. Locals whispered of ghostly apparitions wandering the halls, their anguished cries and desperate whispers echoing through the empty rooms. As the years passed, the town's residents grew wary of Valentine's Day, for it seemed to awaken the spirits trapped within the manor's decaying walls. On this ominous night, the air grew heavy with a sense of impending doom, and the streets fell under an eerie silence. Amidst this ominous atmosphere, a young couple, Emily and James, found themselves inexplicably drawn to the manor on Valentine's Day. Unaware of its haunted history, they believed the abandoned mansion would provide the perfect backdrop for a romantic evening. As they crossed the threshold, a chill crept up their spines, and the familiar whispers of the heartbroken lovers enveloped them. Unseen eyes watched their every move, and a sense of unease settled upon them, their hearts pounding in their chests. The couple explored the manor, unaware that they had become players in a tragic reenactment of the past. Shadows danced on the walls, their movements mirroring the events that had unfolded years ago. The air grew heavy with the weight of sorrow and betrayal. As the clock struck midnight, the spirits of Lady Victoria and Lord Charles materialized before Emily and James, their ethereal forms radiating a bittersweet glow. The lovers' tortured souls sought solace, their translucent figures etched with pain and longing. Emily and James, frozen in fear, witnessed the reenactment of the ill-fated lovers' final moments. The air crackled with tension as Lord Reginald's vengeful spirit emerged, his eyes filled with madness. The tragic scene unfolded before them, the violence and heartbreak etched into their memories. Realizing that they were unknowingly caught in the cycle of eternal torment, Emily and James clung to each other, their love becoming a beacon of hope amidst the darkness. With trembling voices, they pleaded for mercy, their words carrying the weight of empathy and understanding. And in that moment, the spirits faltered. Lady Victoria and Lord Charles, their longing gazes meeting Emily and James, saw a reflection of their own love in the young couple's eyes. It was a love unburdened by betrayal, a love that had the power to break the cycle of despair. With a flicker of ethereal energy, the spirits of Lady Victoria and Lord Charles dissolved into the night, their souls finally finding peace. The manor, once haunted by their tragic tale, grew quiet, as if the weight of the past had been lifted. Emily and James, forever touched by the haunting encounter, left the manor hand in hand, their hearts forever intertwined with the echoes of lost love. They knew that the whispers of the heart would linger, a reminder of the ghosts of Valentine's past, and the power of love to transcend even the darkest of secrets. In a quiet suburban neighborhood, Valentine's Day was a time of innocent joy and youthful excitement. A group of close-knit friends, Emma, Liam, and Sophie, eagerly awaited the day, their hearts brimming with anticipation for the classroom Valentine's exchange. The night before Valentine's Day, a fierce winter storm swept through the town, leaving behind a thick blanket of snow. Schools were closed, and the children's hopes of sharing heartfelt greetings and sweet treats with their classmates seemed dashed. But their resilient spirits refused to be dampened. Determined to celebrate Valentine's Day, the three friends embarked on a daring adventure. Bundled up in layers of warm clothing, they braved the biting cold and trudged through the snow-covered streets, their small footprints fading with each step. Their destination was the local elementary school, where countless Valentine's cards awaited distribution. The children were on a mission to ensure that no classmate would be deprived of the joy and warmth that Valentine's Day brought. As they reached the school, their excitement grew, but their enthusiasm quickly turned to apprehension. The school appeared eerily silent, with its windows dark and the doors locked. Uncertainty crept into their hearts, but their determination pushed them forward. Finding an unlocked side entrance, the children cautiously entered the school, their breath visible in the crisp air. The hallways were dimly lit, and a sense of abandonment hung in the air. It felt as if the school had been frozen in time, untouched by the outside world. With their flashlights guiding the way, the friends made their way to the classroom where the Valentine's cards were stored. The door creaked open, revealing rows of empty desks and a stack of unopened boxes. The children exchanged puzzled glances, wondering why the cards had been left behind. As they began sorting through the forgotten Valentines, a chilling realization dawned upon them. The storm had caused the school closure, but no one had thought to retrieve the Valentine's cards. The children's hearts sank as they realized that their classmates would wake up to a Valentine's Day devoid of the anticipated exchange. Refusing to accept defeat, Emma, Liam, and Sophie hatched a plan. They would become the bearers of love, hand-delivering each Valentine's card to their classmates' doorsteps. With their backpacks filled to the brim with cards, they set out into the snowy streets once again, their determination shining through the cold. One by one, they trudged through the deep snow, delivering cards to their friends' houses. The wind howled, and the snowflakes danced around them, but they pressed on. The smiles on their faces and the warmth in their hearts fueled their mission, despite the eerie stillness that surrounded them. As the children completed their deliveries, they noticed something peculiar. In the distance, shadows moved, and whispers filled the air. A sense of unease settled upon them, but they dismissed it as their imaginations running wild in the wintry landscape. Finally, with the last card delivered, the friends turned to head back home, their task accomplished. But as they retraced their steps, they realized they were no longer alone. Figures emerged from the shadows, their eyes gleaming with an otherworldly light. It was the spirits of forgotten children, those who had longed for the joy of Valentine's Day, but had been denied their moment of celebration. They had witnessed the children's selfless act of kindness and were moved by their determination to spread love amidst the desolation. The spirits, once trapped in a limbo of loneliness, now found solace in the children's gesture. Their voices echoed through the snowy night, expressing gratitude and joy, as if the forgotten Valentines had finally found their way home. As the spirits faded back into the night, the children stood in awe, their hearts filled with a mix of fear and wonder. They realized that in their act of kindness, they had not only brought joy to their classmates, but had also touched the souls of those long forgotten. With a newfound appreciation for the power of love and the resilience of the human spirit, the children made their way back home. The storm continued to rage, but their hearts burned brighter than ever, forever transformed by the haunting, yet beautiful Valentine's Day they would never forget. In a small, secluded town nestled in the depths of the forest, Valentine's Day held an eerie significance. Legend spoke of a vengeful spirit known as the Bleeding Heart, said to roam the town on this fateful day, seeking retribution for lost love. The tale began decades ago, when a young woman named Amelia fell deeply in love with a local fisherman named Henry. Their love burned bright, but tragedy struck when Henry's boat capsized during a treacherous storm. Amelia, consumed by grief and heartbreak, lost her mind, and her spirit became forever tied to Valentine's Day, seeking solace in the anguish of others. As the years passed, the town's inhabitants grew fearful of Valentine's Day, for it brought with it a sense of foreboding and an unsettling atmosphere that permeated the air. Each year, on the eve of Valentine's Day, whispers of the bleeding heart circulated through hushed conversations, sending shivers down the spines of those who dared to remember. One year, a young couple named Rachel and David, oblivious to the town's haunting history, decided to spend Valentine's Day in the picturesque cabin they had recently purchased on the outskirts of town. The cabin, surrounded by towering trees, seemed like the perfect setting for a romantic getaway. As darkness descended on Valentine's Day, Rachel and David embraced the tranquility of their surroundings. Crackling logs in the fireplace filled the room with warmth, casting dancing shadows on the walls. They laughed, exchanged heartfelt words, and reveled in the joy of their love. Unbeknownst to them, the bleeding heart lurked in the shadows, drawn to the intense emotions that permeated the cabin. As the clock struck midnight, the atmosphere shifted, and a chill ran through the air. The couple sensed an unsettling presence, a feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. A soft breeze whistled through the trees, carrying with it a haunting melody, a melancholic tune that echoed through the night. Rachel and David exchanged worried glances, their hearts pounding in their chests. They dismissed their fears as mere figments of their imagination, clinging to the hope that their romantic evening would not be marred by the town's macabre legend. But the bleeding heart had other plans. As the night wore on, strange occurrences plagued the couple. Objects moved on their own accord, whispers filled the air, and the temperature plummeted to bone-chilling levels. The walls of the cabin seemed to close in, suffocating them with an overwhelming sense of despair. In a desperate attempt to escape the clutches of the vengeful spirit, Rachel and David searched for answers, delving into the town's dark history. They uncovered tales of lost loves, broken hearts, and the bleeding heart's insatiable thirst for revenge. Armed with this newfound knowledge, Rachel and David devised a plan to appease the spirit and break free from its haunting grip. They set out to find the spot where Amelia's heart had shattered, believing that by reuniting the fragments of her broken love, they could bring peace to her tormented soul. Guided by the flickering light of a lantern, they ventured deep into the heart of the forest, following whispers carried on the wind. The eerie silence and the dense fog that enveloped them heightened their senses, making every step feel like a treacherous journey into the unknown. Finally, they arrived at a desolate clearing, where an ancient, gnarled tree stood, its branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. In the center of the clearing, a worn stone marked Amelia's final resting place. As Rachel and David carefully pieced together the fragments of a shattered locket, the forest trembled, and a mournful cry echoed through the night. In that moment, the bleeding heart spirit materialized before them, her ethereal form glowing with a bittersweet radiance. Amelia's eyes, filled with sorrow, met theirs, and a sense of understanding washed over Rachel and David. The vengeful spirit had finally found solace, her broken heart mended through an act of love and compassion. As dawn broke on Valentine's Day, the town awoke to an inexplicable calmness. The chilling aura that had shrouded the town for years had dissipated, replaced by a newfound sense of peace. Rachel and David, forever changed by their encounter with the bleeding heart, left the town carrying with them a story of love, loss, and redemption. On a chilly Valentine's Day morning, in a small, close-knit neighborhood, two strangers named Sarah and Mark found themselves caught in the midst of a serendipitous encounter that would forever change their lives. Sarah, a compassionate young woman with a gentle smile, worked tirelessly at the local community center, organizing events and lending a helping hand to those in need. Mark, a reserved and introspective artist, sought solace in his studio, pouring his emotions onto canvas, capturing the beauty and complexities of the world. As the day unfolded, both Sarah and Mark went about their routines, unaware that destiny was about to weave their paths together. They crossed each other's paths at a quaint cafe, where the aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, mingling with the anticipation of Valentine's Day. Sarah, engrossed in her work on her laptop, barely noticed when her coffee cup slipped from her hand, spilling its contents onto the floor. Embarrassed, she quickly apologized to the cafe owner, who graciously assured her that accidents happen. Mark, sitting nearby, observed the commotion with a twinkle of amusement in his eyes. Feeling a sense of guilt, Sarah offered to help clean up the mess she had made. Mark, ever the gentleman, joined in, and as they wiped away the spilled coffee, their conversation flowed effortlessly. They discovered shared interests, exchanged stories, and realized they had a deeper connection than they could have imagined. As the hours passed, Sarah and Mark continued to talk, oblivious to the world around them. Laughter filled the air, and their hearts opened up, revealing vulnerabilities that they rarely shared with others. It was as if the universe had conspired to bring them together on this fateful Valentine's Day. With the sun beginning to set, a spark of curiosity ignited within both Sarah and Mark. They decided to seize the moment and explore the neighborhood together, discovering hidden gems in the streets they had walked countless times before. Hand in hand, they strolled through the park, their conversation flowing effortlessly, and their hearts entwined. As they reached a picturesque bridge overlooking a shimmering river, the atmosphere was charged with an undeniable connection. Underneath the soft glow of streetlights, Sarah and Mark shared their hopes, dreams, and fears. In that quiet moment, they realized they had found something rare, a profound connection that transcended the confines of a single day. As the night sky filled with stars, Sarah and Mark reluctantly bid each other farewell, knowing that their lives would never be the same. They exchanged phone numbers, promising to stay in touch and explore the possibilities that lay ahead. In the days and weeks that followed, Sarah and Mark embarked on a journey of discovery, nurturing their newfound bond. They shared meals, attended art exhibits, and delved into meaningful conversations that deepened their connection. With each passing day, love blossomed, grounded in mutual respect, shared values, and a genuine understanding of one another. Valentine's Day, once seen as a day of grand gestures and societal expectations, had transformed into something much more profound for Sarah and Mark. It became a reminder of the unexpected connections that could form in the most ordinary of moments. A spilled coffee, a shared laugh, and a bridge that bridged the gap between two souls. Years later, Sarah and Mark recounted their serendipitous meeting on that chilly Valentine's Day, grateful for the chance encounter that had brought them together. They celebrated love not just on a single day, but every day, cherishing the unexpected connections that continued to shape their lives. And so, their love story remained a testament to the power of coincidences, the beauty of vulnerability, and the enduring magic of Valentine's Day. A reminder that love can find us when we least expect it, weaving its way through the tapestry of our lives, forever changing us in the process. In the heart of a bustling city, amidst the whirlwind of Valentine's Day preparations, there existed a forgotten soul named Emily. She was a kind-hearted woman who had spent years longing for a love of her own, but had yet to find her perfect match. As Valentine's Day approached, Emily couldn't help but feel a pang of emptiness as she witnessed the joyous celebrations around her. While others were wrapped up in the frenzy of flowers, chocolates, and romantic gestures, Emily found solace in her work. As a librarian, she immersed herself in the world of books, finding comfort in the pages that transported her to distant lands and eras. However, deep down, she yearned for a connection, a love story of her own. On Valentine's Day morning, Emily woke to find a small, weathered envelope tucked beneath her apartment door. Intrigued yet cautious, she opened it to find a handwritten letter. It spoke of a love lost, a longing unfulfilled, and a desire to find solace in a world that seemed indifferent to one's deepest desires. The letter, signed only with the initial J, struck a chord within Emily's heart. She couldn't help but wonder who this mysterious J was and how they had come to know her deepest yearnings. Determined to uncover the truth, Emily embarked on a quest to find her secret admirer. Armed with the letter as her guide, Emily retraced her steps, seeking out places where she had left impressions on the world. From the local coffee shop, where she would sit alone with her thoughts, to the park bench where she found refuge during her lunch breaks, she searched for any clue that might lead her to days turned into weeks, and Emily's determination never wavered. She combed through libraries, coffee shops, and even ventured to the city's outskirts, following the faintest trail left behind by the mysterious letter writer. Along the way, she encountered others who, like her, were searching for connections, for love. As she delved deeper into her quest, Emily discovered a network of strangers who had received similar letters that spoke to their innermost desires and longings. They formed an unlikely bond, united in their shared pursuit of a love that had eluded them. Together, they pieced together the fragments of information, tracing the letters back to a small, forgotten bookstore on the outskirts of town. It was in the dimly lit aisles of the bookstore that Emily finally came face to face with Jay. The proprietor, an elderly man with kind eyes, revealed himself as the orchestrator of the mysterious letters. He explained that he had once been a hopeless romantic, but life circumstances had forced him to let go of his dreams. However, he found solace in bringing hope to others, in writing letters that spoke to their hearts and reminded them that love existed even in the absence of a partner. Emily was moved by the bittersweet tale, touched by the kindness and selflessness of a stranger. She realized that love, in all its forms, could be found in unexpected places. She thanked Jay for the journey, for the reminder that her search for love need not be confined to romance, but could encompass the friendships and connections she had formed along the way. As Valentine's Day drew to a close, Emily returned to her apartment, her heart full of gratitude. She understood that she was not forgotten, that love surrounded her in the friendships she had forged, in the stories she had shared, and in the moments of connection she had experienced during her quest. From that day forward, Emily embraced Valentine's Day with a renewed perspective. She continued to seek love, not only in the arms of a romantic partner, but in the world around her. She understood that love could be found in the laughter of friends, in the warmth of a stranger's smile, and in the pages of the books that had always been her companions. And so, Emily's journey continued, her heart open to the possibilities that each new day brought. The forgotten Valentine had found her voice, and in doing so, she had discovered a love that transcended the confines of a single day, a love that embraced the beauty of the human spirit and the connections that made life worth living. Valentine's Day, a day associated with love and affection, took a sinister turn in the small town of Meadowbrook. For years, the townsfolk had celebrated the romantic holiday with joy and anticipation. However, little did they know that on this fateful February 14th, their lives would be forever changed. The day began like any other, with couples exchanging heartfelt cards, chocolates, and flowers. The air was filled with anticipation and excitement as the town's residents prepared for the annual Valentine's Day parade, a cherished tradition that showcased the community's love and unity. As the sun set and darkness enveloped Meadowbrook, a sense of unease settled upon the town. Unbeknownst to the unsuspecting lovebirds, a malevolent force had descended upon their peaceful haven. A deranged individual, known only as the Valentine's Day Killer, had meticulously planned a reign of terror to shatter the spirit of love forever. The first sign of trouble came when the lights dimmed, plunging the town into darkness. Panic rippled through the crowd as they realized something was terribly wrong. Whispers of concern turned into screams of terror as a series of explosions rocked the parade route, sending people scrambling for safety. The chaos that ensued was unimaginable. The streets were littered with debris, and the air carried the acrid scent of smoke. The once joyous celebration had transformed into a nightmare. The townsfolk, now separated and disoriented, desperately sought shelter, their hearts pounding with fear. In the midst of the mayhem, a group of survivors banded together in an abandoned storefront. Fear etched on their faces, they tried to make sense of the horror that had befallen their town. It became clear that the Valentine's Day Killer had orchestrated a meticulously planned assault, targeting specific individuals with a chilling precision. As they pieced together fragments of information, a pattern emerged. one that cut through the chaos and revealed the dark motive behind the massacre. Each victim had a connection, however tenuous, to a tragic incident that had occurred in Meadowbrook years ago. It seemed that the Valentine's Day killer was seeking revenge for a past injustice, determined to make the town pay for its collective sins. The survivors, driven by a mix of fear and determination, embarked on a treacherous journey to unravel the secrets of the past. They delved into the town's dark history, unearthing long-buried secrets and unspoken tragedies. As they connected the dots, they realized that redemption lay in understanding the truth and confronting the sins of their ancestors. In a nerve-wracking race against time, the survivors followed a trail of cryptic clues left behind by the Valentine's Day killer. They ventured into forgotten corners of the town, where darkness lurked and the echoes of past horrors whispered through the night. Finally, they reached the dilapidated Meadowbrook Asylum, the site of the town's darkest chapter. As they stepped through its decaying doors, the suffocating atmosphere weighed heavily upon them. The air was thick with the stench of decay, and the walls seemed to whisper malevolent secrets. Within the confines of the asylum, the survivors found themselves face to face with the Valentine's Day killer. A chilling figure emerged from the shadows, their identity concealed by a haunting mask. The air crackled with tension as the killer revealed their motivation, a twisted desire to expose the town's secrets and extract a bloody revenge. A harrowing battle ensued as the survivors fought for their lives. Each moment was filled with heart-stopping terror as they struggled to outwit their masked adversary. The echoes of gunshots and screams reverberated through the asylum's halls, mingling with the maddening laughter of the killer. In a final, desperate confrontation, the survivors managed to unmask the Valentine's Day killer, revealing a face twisted by pain and vengeance. In that moment, the town's sins were laid bare, and the cycle of violence was broken. As dawn broke over the ravaged town, the survivors emerged from the darkness, battered but alive. They had faced unimaginable horrors and emerged victorious, their hearts forever scarred by the Valentine's Day massacre. Meadowbrook would never be the same, but in the aftermath of the tragedy, the town would rebuild, clinging to the fragile hope that love could prevail even in the face of unspeakable terror.